Erica Shaw trusted the people she let into her life. Justin Palmer was one of them, an old co-worker with a quiet demeanor and a dark obsession. When Erica was found murdered outside her home, no one saw it happen, but her doorbell camera did. What it recorded was more than just a crime. It was a chilling moment of betrayal, captured frame by frame, in a case where the killer thought he left no trace. The truth was already recorded and it was impossible to erase. Pine Hill Avenue was the kind of street where neighbors greeted each other with smiles, and kids rode their bikes until dusk. It was quiet, clean, and uneventful, a place where nothing bad ever seemed to happen. That peace was broken on a foggy Tuesday morning when a dog walker noticed something strange on the sidewalk outside Townhouse 1B. A dark stained streak across the pavement, and nearby, a set of keys and a phone lay scattered. When the dog started barking and refused to move forward, the owner stepped closer. That's when they saw the body. Erica Shaw, a 26-year-old freelance designer, was lying motionless near her front steps. Her jacket was soaked in blood, and her eyes stared blankly into the early morning sky. Panic spread through the neighborhood as police arrived and quickly secured the scene. There were no signs of a break-in or theft. Erica's wallet and laptop bag were still inside her unlocked home. Whatever had happened, it had occurred right outside her door, and whoever had done it didn't take anything with them. Detectives noted the unusual calm of the scene. There were no dragged footprints, no broken windows, no overturned items. The attack had been swift and efficient. Erica had sustained multiple stab wounds to the chest and abdomen. Her phone had been thrown, but her house remained untouched. It appeared to be a targeted attack, not a robbery or random act. Neighbors were stunned. Many described Erica as kind, helpful, and soft-spoken. She mostly worked from home, often seen walking her dog or jogging in the evenings. Nobody had seen or heard anything suspicious the night before. Most cameras on the street were positioned toward driveways or porches, and none faced Erica's unit directly. One neighbor, however, had a recently installed doorbell camera that pointed toward the street. Though it seemed unlikely at first, detectives retrieved the footage for review. The camera had motion detection enabled and had been recording throughout the night. As the sun rose over the blood-stained sidewalk, detectives had no clear suspect, no obvious motive, and no witnesses. But what they didn't realize yet was that the entire truth the moment Erica's life ended had already been recorded. Detectives brought the doorbell camera footage back to the station and began reviewing it frame by frame. For the first hour, there was nothing of note, cars passing occasionally, a stray cat moving through the bushes, and porch lights flickering as timers adjusted to the foggy night. Then, at exactly 13 a.m., the camera picked up movement across the street. A tall figure in dark clothing emerged from the shadows and walked steadily toward Erica Shaw's front door. The person was wearing a hoodie with the hood pulled low, obscuring their face. They moved calmly, not running or sneaking. It was someone who didn't expect to be watched. The figure stood at the door for a moment and knocked. Less than 10 seconds later, Erica opened the door, although the camera angle didn't catch her face clearly. Her body language suggested she recognized the person. There was no hesitation. She stepped outside with them. For about 30 seconds, the two stood close together, speaking. Then the mood shifted. Erica turned to re-enter her home, but the figure followed quickly. In a sudden burst of motion, they grabbed her from behind and forced her down. The attack was violent and precise. The figure raised their arm repeatedly, holding what appeared to be a knife, and struck several times. It all happened within 60 seconds. Erica stopped moving. The killer stood over her, breathing heavily. Then they turned slowly and walked away, leaving her body on the front steps. As they stepped into the street, the camera caught a brief glimpse of their face, lit by a passing car's headlights. It was only for a second, but it was enough. Detectives froze the frame and zoomed in. The image was grainy, but the features were partially visible, sharper than expected. The footage had captured the entire crime, from start to finish. No guesswork, no need for theories. They didn't just have evidence, they had the act itself. What startled the officers most was the killer's demeanor. There was no panic, no rushing. It wasn't a frenzied crime. It was deliberate, controlled, the kind of attack that came from personal motive, not impulse. And now, thanks to one smart doorbell, the killer's biggest mistake had been caught on camera. With the partial facial image from the doorbell footage, detectives began running comparisons through facial recognition software. Within hours, they had a possible match: Justin Palmer, age 28. He wasn't a stranger. In fact, Erica Shaw had once worked with him at a local digital marketing firm. Their paths had crossed nearly 2 years prior, when Justin had been let go under controversial circumstances. An internal complaint had been filed by multiple women, including Erica, alleging inappropriate messages and repeated unwanted advances. Justin had been warned twice before being officially terminated. Further investigation revealed a troubling pattern. After his termination, Justin had moved between jobs, often leaving within months. Police learned that he had recently returned to the same city Erica lived in and had been renting a small studio just 6 blocks from her townhouse. They pulled security footage from nearby gas stations, grocery stores, and bus stops. Multiple sightings confirmed he had been in the area repeatedly during the past 2 weeks, sometimes just lingering near Erica's street for no clear reason. Detectives obtained a search warrant for Justin's apartment. Inside, they found a collection of items that raised immediate alarms. In a locked drawer, they recovered printed photos of Erica, old emails between them, and even a page from her blog that had been highlighted and annotated in red ink. More disturbing was the black hoodie and dark jeans folded neatly on a chair clothing. That matched the figure in the doorbell footage. A knife was discovered in the bathroom sink, recently washed but with visible rust spots. Forensics would later reveal traces of blood mist during cleaning. DNA tests matched Erica's profile. Detectives also found his laptop open to a news article about Erica's murder. They brought Justin in for questioning. He denied involvement but couldn't explain why his image appeared in the footage, or why Erica's blood was found on his clothing. His story fell apart quickly. Full of contradictions and long pauses, he claimed to have been home asleep, yet phone data showed movement at 2 a.m., just minutes before the attack. His browsing history included searches like how to erase security footage and stab wound survival time. What began as a mystery had turned into a mountain of undeniable evidence. Justin Palmer had tried to vanish into the quiet of the night, but his every step had been watched by the very technology he thought he could outsmart. The trial of Justin Palmer drew massive attention. Reporters from around the state filled the courtroom, and the public waited anxiously to see how a case so airtight would unfold. The prosecution wasted no time. They opened with the surveillance footage, the clearest, most damning piece of evidence. As the video played on the courtroom screen, the room fell silent. Everyone watched the sequence of events: Erica answering the door, the conversation, the sudden violent attack, and the killer casually walking away into the night. Jurors visibly reacted. Some looked away. Others stared in disbelief. The footage needed no explanation. It was raw, real, and horrifying. The prosecutor emphasized how Erica had trusted the man she once knew, only to be betrayed in the most brutal way possible. Witnesses were called to testify about Justin's past behavior. Former co-workers described his obsessive tendencies, especially toward Erica. A former girlfriend spoke about similar stalking behavior she endured when she tried to leave him. Digital forensic experts outlined his internet history, proving his careful planning before the murder, searching for knife techniques, doorbell camera blind spots, and methods to wipe DNA. The defense tried to argue mental instability, painting Justin as a man under emotional distress with no control over his actions. They attempted to discredit the footage by calling it unclear and biased due to the angle. But it wasn't enough. The overwhelming physical evidence, blood on his clothes, the knife with traces of Erica's DNA, and his presence at the scene overpowered every counter-argument. When Justin took the stand, his demeanor was cold and detached. He offered no apology, no explanation, just a flat denial that clashed with everything shown in court. His lack of emotion only strengthened the jury's belief in his guilt. After a week-long trial and less than 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a unanimous verdict, guilty of first-degree murder. The judge sentenced Justin Palmer to life in prison without the possibility of parole. There was no outburst, no final statement, just silence as he was led away. For Erica's family, the verdict brought some closure. Justice had been served, but it couldn't bring her back. Her life was stolen in the middle of a quiet night by someone who couldn't let go. What made the case unforgettable wasn't just the brutality, it was that the entire truth had been captured by a small device few ever noticed. In the months that followed the trial, Erica Shaw's name became more than a headline. Her story, and the way it was captured in real time, sparked conversations across the country about personal safety, stalking, and the role of technology in solving crimes. The footage that sealed the case had once been just a standard security feature, a simple doorbell camera meant to track packages and visitors. But it became the silent witness to a murder, one that gave Erica a voice when she could no longer speak for herself. Her family, still navigating immense grief, chose to create a foundation in her memory. The Erica Shaw Foundation focused on helping victims of stalking and harassment, providing legal support, safety planning, and raising awareness about early warning signs. Her parents spoke at events, emphasizing the importance of taking all threats seriously, no matter how subtle they might seem. Law enforcement agencies began using her case as a training example. The way evidence was gathered, the value of community surveillance, and the importance of digital footprints became teaching points in courses across the country. Erica's case helped shape new protocols for handling digital evidence in violent crimes. Police departments also encouraged more community members to register their cameras involuntarily. Surveillance networks dotted Pine Hill Avenue, neighbors became more vigilant. Many installed their own doorbell cameras or updated their home security systems. The street slowly returned to its calm routine, but reminders of the tragedy remained. A bench was placed near Erica's home with a small plaque that read, "In memory of a life taken too soon, and the truth that found her justice." As for Justin Palmer, he remained behind bars, offering no appeals, no statements, no explanations. He had tried to silence Erica, but in doing so, he became the center of a case that echoed far beyond the crime itself. His crime wasn't just caught, it was exposed to the world, frame by frame. Erica's story serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes the people we know are capable of things we don't expect, and sometimes it's the technology we overlook, the quiet camera by the door that sees the truth and refuses to forget.